Imagine the silence that follows an act of violence. A soldier stands over a body, paralyzed. A superhero floats above a crashing plane, unfazed. In both cases, there's no victory, only the crushing weight of what's been done and what can't be undone. These moments of inaction, guilt, and internal conflict reveal how people are changed, not just by what they do, but by what they carry with them afterward. Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried, a haunting portrait of American soldiers in the Vietnam War, shows how memory and guilt distort a soldier's identity. In a completely different genre, Eric Kripke's The Boys presents a satirical world where superheroes are products of trauma and corporate manipulation. Through O'Brien's portrayal of emotional trauma and Kripke's depiction of psychological corruption, both The Things They Carried and The Boys reveal that identity is shaped by our past, our environment, and what we try to forget. Both O'Brien and Kripke explore how personal trauma forces individuals to rewrite their own narratives, ultimately reshaping who they are. In the chapter The Man I Killed, O'Brien fixates on the details of a Vietnamese man he killed. He doesn't speak about his feelings directly, rather, he repeats graphic images as a form of coping. In the novel he writes, "His jaw was in his throat, his upper lip and teeth were gone. He was not a fighter." Alongside these disturbing images, O'Brien imagines the man's quiet life before the war, his dreams, his fears. It's as if he's trying to bring the man back to life through story, or at least make sense of the act by creating empathy. In The Boys, Homelander's trauma runs just as deep. He was raised in a lab, without family or affection, molded into a symbol of perfection rather than a person. In the episode, The Self-Preservation Society, he confronts Dr. Vogelbaum, the scientist responsible for raising him, who admits,
"You're my greatest failure."
Moments before, Homelander states,
"I'm the world's greatest superhero."
trying to anchor himself in a false identity. His public image is flawless, but his inner world is shattered. He is desperate for love, purpose, and validation from everyone around him. Each man is haunted by what they've done and what was done to them. Their stories show how trauma leads to self-distortion, and how people cling to fantasy and denial to survive. War zones and corrupt societies reshape morality, pressuring individuals to abandon their values for survival or control. In The Things They Carried, Norman Boker returns home to a quiet, empty town. He feels unable to talk about the fact that he failed to save his fellow soldier, Kiowa. He says, "The truth is I let the guy go." His guilt is worsened by the silence he faces at home. The world expects him to move on and to be proud of what he has done for his country. But inside, he feels like a failure. His environment doesn't give him space to process his trauma, so it eats away at him. In The Boys, Queen Maeve faces a nearly identical situation. In the episode, The Female of the Species, she is on a crashing plane with Homelander after a terrorist hostage situation. When she begs him to save the passengers, he refuses, making excuses about how it's too complicated. Viewing them as nothing more than roaches,
"We're done here."
he says coldly, while Maeve cries.
Please.
Everything's fine, guys.
She knows what's happening is wrong, but she doesn't act, too afraid of what could happen. In the end, she leaves with him, silent. Her career, her safety, and her fear of Homelander trap her in a place where doing the right thing becomes impossible. These examples show that morality can be reshaped by fear and pressure. In Boker's world, silence is patriotic. In Maeve's world, silence is survival. Both characters abandon their moral clarity, not because they are heartless, but because their environments taught them to stay silent. Tim O'Brien and Eric Kripke paint two very different worlds, but the emotional truths they explore are the same. Identity is not only shaped by who we are, but by what we've lived through, what we've lost, and how we hide from it. Whether it's a soldier in Vietnam or a superhero in the spotlight, both must live with the weight of silence, guilt, and survival.